they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power. Over naira, still them talk say, make we off mind. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego die the politico. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not they off in mind. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary politico. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This man not they off in mind. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them Mayegun today. Oh.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré.
Martinelli.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun #1. Mayegun diary politico.
You are welcome to the Temple of Truth. I am the GO of this temple. So, brethren, as you are taking your seats, remember this. Share the broadcast, okay? Like the broadcast. That is your own offering. Don't miss that.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ dodo. Mayegun diary, Mayegun #1.
Yes. Olu ti sọnà sí Supreme Court o.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé.
Olu don set fire on the Supreme Court. For those who know this playbook very well, they are not surprised.
Lórí Facebook, Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube, Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Abeg. Who said that? Kolu. Kolu is begging the justice in Chicago as you are watching this video right now. Please, Biko, Dakwejo, please, Story Along, you can release my certificate. Please don't release my gender. Don't release my record. Don't release other things that are going to show other things that we don't want to show other people. That is Kolu is begging right now.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé.
They say Kolu they meet bandits. The governor from the bandit state, Zamfara, is raising alarm. Kolu is meeting bandits behind my back, yo. I have no idea what he is doing or he is promising them. Oh, we have some of them tonight.
súnra jù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé.
Mo ti dé. Mo tún ti dé again. So good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. Okay? This is Máyégún live. I hope you have actually read the caption and the description of this broadcast. By the way, Martinelli said another banger. Baba, eléyìí ju banger lọ. So we'll be taking it one after the other. Lagos Abobaku, Oshogbo Alimajiri, the crumb eaters, crumb chasers, ass lickers, all risers, Oman abroad, Buhari Danes, Buhari Diderins, the Buhari Dinotus, the Buhari Dijatus, Buhari Shukus, Ngozi Haris, Nneka Haris, Bat Idiot, all the clans of Esai barbarians, the Bat Idiots, some call you Agbadorians. You know one thing I love to remind you all the time, when you come onto Máyégún's Diary Political to vent, simply because Máyégún will never stop, right, outing your criminal leaders. I love to remind you, we have come a very long way. You don't like me, I don't like you. But that will never change the truth that is always very constant. And at the same time, your rage, your rant, and every other bigoted nonsense that you have been so become a professional, right? For your own oppressors. They will never change the fact that these criminals don't mean well for Nigeria. You are a loser. The day you realize is the day your chains will be off. So if you come on to Máyégún's Diary Political to waste your time, to waste your data, only to come here to come and rant because of the Olórí Burúkú tí wọ́n ti bá yé yín jẹ́ yìí o, those ones who are actually ruining your everything right now, it is a waste of time. You can possibly be doing something else, because tonight here is another update to you. And if you sit down there listening to Máyégún, knowing that the truth and everything Máyégún is going to talk about will kind of make you uncomfortable, I don't know why you are still sitting there. Inú abímọkú ò kì í dùn, inú ẹ̀ ò ní dùn for the next 3 hours. Here is another update to you, ladies and gentlemen. What is on the Supreme Court too? For those who know Kolu very well, burning down buildings, okay, to further say, oh, we lost the evidence, we lost Kiniko in the fire. When he was being tried for operating foreign bank account, which according to them was against their law in Nigeria, code of conduct, Kolu attended court appearance once. After that, they burned the entire building down. They said, the court is on fire. The documents have been kind of... So the case died a natural death. When late Chief Gani Faweyemi, when it was onto him to expose the fraud, the drug baron, Kolu, that he was at the time, when the case got so heated up, Kolu was governor of Lagos State. I don't know how many times Igboshere Court and so many other courts across Lagos State got burnt, where documents were like, oh, we lost the original document in fire. So people woke up this morning, Monday morning, Ojo Aje. That was when fire. In Supreme Court, inside 2 offices. You see, Nigeria was supposed to have 22 Supreme Court justices, okay? But for the past 4-5 years, majority of those justices of the Supreme Court, they have come to their retirement age and they started retiring. Meanwhile, Nigeria currently have about maybe 10 Supreme Court justices, shortage of 12. Here you get. Now, it's from these 10 justices that they are going to choose maybe 5 or 6 that are going to listen to Obi and Atifu's appeal. So they submitted, listen to this one. They were supposed to file in their appeal at a certain expected date. Okay? Now, what people are now suspecting is that this was supposed to be done in 2 weeks after the tribunal judgment. They had 2 weeks, 14 days to file an appeal at the Supreme Court. That is when it's going to be legal. Kolu, that is now being naked, stripped naked in America right now. It is so bad that they don't know how to handle whatever this whole thing is going to kind of become in the coming days, weeks, and months. They are worried and concerned. Okay? So, could the hand of the Supreme Court of Nigeria be shifted when the evidence are no longer incontrovertible, when it becomes like they cannot deny anymore? So, remember that part of the reasons why they thrown out the petitions of Atiku and Obi, according to the tribunal, was because of the time they filed the evidence, the time they filed the witnesses. So because the times were wrong, so therefore they would not even look at any witness or any evidence. So some people are beginning to feel like the same scenario is about to play out in the Supreme Court. Okay? So when people started hearing fire, 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 they were like, it is almost 2 weeks now to the deadline of filing your appeal. Sure, you know. So if fire start at the Supreme Court and they say the petition that Obi and Atiku submitted, they have burned, they've been destroyed. They have just 24 hours to submit another copy and make sure that it is paid. It is completely in the hand of the Supreme Court. It's nothing, no problem, no problem, no nothing. Don't worry about that. Then the Supreme Court will be delivering its judgment. And they will say, well, the problem is that we would have to back the tribunal because the time you submitted your petition, your appeal, has already lapsed. So what does that mean? The time to submit petition has kind of, I think it has just about a day or two. So with this fire, what if they now turn around and start asking Atiku and Obi to resend their petition? And Atiku and Obi send the petition. And then when the Supreme Court will deliver its judgment and they will say, you didn't submit the petition in time. Just the same way, the same tribunal issued 5 different judgments, 5 different orders against INEC. The INEC should hand over the electoral material, the election materials they used to the petitioners so that they can file their petition. 5 times INEC denied them. Maybe you were alive. Abi, did you know? Have you forgotten? That during that tribunal, it took them about 3-4 months before INEC could finally give them the electoral material, election material, where they gave them 18,088 blank result. Blank. INEC gave Obi and Atiku the evidence of the result they announced. Okay? And in that, out of 176,000 polling units results, 18,000 of them, it was blank, totally blank. Then 33,000 of the results were completely mutilated, unreadable. So by the time INEC gave that to them and they presented that to the courts as evidence, INEC opposed the result that they gave to Obi and Atiku. They were the ones who said, this is the result.
election results, where we said Tinubu scored 8 million, where we said that Atiku could score 6 million, Obi 6 million. This is the result. Go and check it. Everything is there. But inside it, nearly 50,000 of them are unreadable. So you can't really say who scored what here in this polling unit and total, and you can't really read them. So when they presented the evidence in court that this is exhibit INEC gave us, so with INEC stamp everything, INEC objected. Objection, my lord. Why? But you were the one who gave them this. Yes, we gave it to them, but we don't want you to accept the evidence. We want you to reject the evidence. So when the judgment came, what happened? They said, the time you submitted the evidence, the time you file in your so and so is, is already over the time allowed by the Electoral Act. They did not mention the fact that they gave INEC 5 orders, 5 times to give the evidence, to give them this, to, you know what I mean? The tribunal didn't even mention it in their judgment. They just said, Peter Obi no present any evidence. Atiku could not present any evidence. The issue of certificate is not an issue. The issue that it was a drug trafficker that forfeited money in America is absolute nonsense. It doesn't really matter. That's a long time ago. The issue of, you remember, Abi, this is the pattern that is about to play out at the Supreme Court. And I think members of this temple, I want you to go and write it as part of your own, what do you call it? The prophecy. Go and write it down. That when they start quoting their Supreme Court judgments, it will likely come to, you did not submit the evidence in time. But let's flow with it right now. Fire, fire, fire. Monday morning, two justices of the Supreme Court caught fire. Surprisingly, this morning.
Don't mind them. No, we cause the war. I can't fight. The bango nyali ya. The car go ega. Kaka mwe vi acha itombi akati mndu bikulu mre piusu.
The law. You see, when we tell you that Nigeria is a crime scene, sometimes some of these statements or so, they are so harsh. I understand. You know, when you say Nigeria is irredeemable, it's so absolute. And to so many people, like, why would you be so absolute about it? Like, if you are a great thinker or what have you, there must always be a way out. There must always be this or that. Don't say it that way. Nigeria is a crime scene where criminals are always rewarded. And the criminals who are already Nigeria is already experiencing state capture right now. Do you understand? The Nigeria is experiencing state capture. Every institution that has already been kind of, already rubbished, they will completely be buried under these criminals. You're going to see it. Okay? Don't worry. Shebi in Nigeria, you know how to kind of get used to abnormalities by normalizing abnormalities, Abi. You did it with Bokuwari. Yeah, you did it with Bokuwari. You adjusted and then adjusted. You know, they say, if you're chasing Nigerians, and you chase them enter the wall, and you expect them to turn around and turn back and say, well, where do you want me to go? Nigerians will make a hole inside that wall. And to them, that is being smart. Okay? So before you get into the wall and get them, they will make more holes and holes and holes until they will no longer be able to continue, and then baby. You understand? So, in a place whereby criminals can set buildings on fire to hide the evidence, the people that are so accustomed to setting buildings on fire, offices on fire, courts, imagine setting court on fire in America. because you don't want them to see some evidence, or you don't want some certain justice, just to compromise the will of justice. And it's just going to look like a fire like that. Don't think I'm jumping the gun. I am actually speaking from experience. And most of the time when things like this happen, at first, when your instinct tells you that it's not an accident, Baba, believe your instincts, especially if you are from Nigeria. So they got this guy who is now talking like, no document is lost. Listen to this stuff.
Fighter. So what happened was just a normal, maybe electrical problem that resulted in the fire outbreak, and the staff were able to effectively douse it with the use of the fire extinguishers that are strategically placed in the Supreme Court. Every floor has a lot of fire extinguishers, and they were able to combat it effectively, and they put it off, so it could not even spread far before the firemen were able to come to also give their own support. That was all. That was what happened. Nothing more. So we thank God. Nothing happened. No life was lost. No life was lost. That is it.
But for maybe documents, bonds, do you have maybe like a backup or something?
Certainly we have them. We have the soft copies of all the documents that are there. So we have e-library here. So those are just hard copies, and the soft copies are still there, so they can still be. We can still replenish the bond library, which each chamber has a library.
Sorry, can you give us the name of the chamber, the owner of the chamber that got bonds?
I don't recall the.
Do you understand? That is how they always first come out to lie. And if you remember Nigeria very well, it is always electrical, and it will turn to more or less like a big inferno. Here you get electrical faults, and it started from sometimes if they want to destroy financial records to cover up corruption, so when they want to burn down government building, they can burn down the department that is keeping financial record. Okay, like they will say, oh, the entire finance bonds. People don't know the code. They will tell you it's electrical. Electrical will move from this room, burn this whole room. They didn't contain it. All right. Then you go to another one, and then you go to another one. Then you will see the government official calm, cool, and collected, telling you there is no cause for alarm. No, there's no cause for alarm. It was still talking. Oh, here is another one. Oh.
And it was due to maybe electrical fault or so. And the staff were on ground to douse it immediately, because in Supreme Court, we don't joke with safety. All the floors are equipped with fire extinguishers, and those were the equipment that the staff were able to deploy immediately to douse the fire. And it only affected one chamber, and not 4, 5, or 10 as being peddled in social media still. So what was destroyed in that chamber are books, stationery, and other computer gadgets. And the books are replaceable, because we have an e-library, we have the soft copies of the books, and also the hard copies could also be procured and supplied to the chamber. So it has nothing to do with the presidential election petition, as people are saying outside. So such issues of presidential election matters are not discussed in the chamber, inside the court, and the documents or books, whatever that has to do with it, are not kept in the chamber. Thank you very much.
Your name, sir?
Dr. Akonde Festus, Director of Press and Information, Supreme Court of Nigeria.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And it was due to...
That's yes, Dr. Akonde Festus. That was clear, Abi. Consider that as the first statement coming from that place. There will still be many more. It is Nigeria. But let's leave the Supreme Court for now, since Mr. Festus already assured all of you that your appeal at the Supreme Court is not burnt and it's not affected, everything is fine. So write that down too, okay? that Mayegun said at a point, they will come back and say the period and the time of filing their appeal, somehow, a get a leg. Then you will now write it there that no, Mr. Festus said nothing like that is going to happen. Just put it down. All right? We'll go to America. Things they happen, or things they occur. Hey, this morning in Chicago, remember that last week Friday was when the Chicago State University were supposed to release everything they have on Tinubu. Everything. Because Unawala too much. Unawala don't kind of led the entire university to almost depression. The past 6 months for the especially this last 2 months for Chicago State University has been possibly in their own history the worst period of time whereby they were dragged, if they have ever been dragged ever. Now everybody collected, staff here and there, anyone that is associated with the Chicago State University, because a lot of Nigerians believe that Tinubu has been switching from between both Chicago State University, University of Chicago. He has been swinging in between. At a point, he said he was born in 1952. Then at another point, he said he was born in 1954. Okay? So all of these things, they have put the Chicago State University name at the front burner. And it wasn't for good reason. Okay? At a point, people were doing free PR for Chicago State University, that anybody when they look for Oluwole, who is looking for any fake diploma, degree, certificate in America, don't go too far. With $30, you can become a graduate of Chicago State University. It was really so bad for them that they had to lock all of their social media handles. They lock them. You can't comment, you can't share, you can't do anything because of this call. So last Friday was the day they were supposed to release everything. 4:30 a.m., 4:30 Daji, before Subui, before everybody woke up to go and pray, Subui in the morning, Tinubu's lawyers, they were already at the courthouse. Court that will not open until 9-10 o'clock. They were already there, 4:30 a.m. What were they doing? They wanted the court to stop the Chicago State University from releasing that document that morning. Because if they release that document, it's going to cause irreparable damages to Tinubu. Which kind of irreparable damages? Waiting there inside the document, waiting there. So the argument started the day after, on Saturday. Oh yeah, the judge was like, oh yeah, come and tell me why you think we shouldn't let them release the... So Kolu started begging them. I beg into the law, Emma Batemije. Fake result, Emma Bayemije. Please. The reason is that I am now the president of the 200 million mumus in Nigeria. And they are currently trying to lay their hands on me if they can have that opportunity so that they can, everybody taking their own pound of flesh. Emma Bayemije, don't give this guy. I say, why? So they now postpone till today. Baba, now today that the judge was supposed to give the judgment and say, oh yeah, release it or don't release it. Kolu can walk in with another guy. Then they happen, me one sheleo. Tinubu, is one kind alien that it is not just Nigerians that are going to realize later waiting they enter. The rest of the world are going to come and see that. How did this happen? No joke, but the journey towards all of that don't start. Kolu can they tell them in court today? That, my lord, okay, you can release my certificate. Tell the Chicago State University to release my certificate for Atifku. Well, I want you to block Chicago State University from releasing my gender. Ha. My manuscript have been a test script. Every other thing that has to do with my record, I don't want you to release them. What is he hiding? Now, we are still in the middle of that. Like, kilo worry my. Why? Would you say they shouldn't release your gender? Kilo ni shik pelu gender. But a lot of discoveries have also happened though. While everybody is still there trying to figure out, okay, what is going on? What is wrong with him? Like, what are you trying to say? That Atiku and his team, they have discovered that the Bola A. Tinubu that went to Chicago State, Richard Daly College, as well as Chicago State University, na girl, American. She is not Nigerian. She's from Nigeria, but she's Nigerian American. Abi American Nigerian, whatever you want to call it. That's the record. But they don't want to release it to all of us. Move all of us, Siam. They wanted the school to release them so that they can then compare them with what they have and tell all of you that make Tinubu can tell you who him be. A complete career criminal who is now the president of Nigeria. Think about that. Then while we were still in court, where everybody still they do waiting be this. Even people who follow call lawyer come, they were there too like Abaniloju Maisha. This man is a complete disgrace. So. It's waiting be this. This is why the people like Mayegu and all these people are always having something to say. What is wrong with Ashiwaju Awatole? Don't release my gender. We already know the gender of the baller that went there. Now that inside that court, two of us can't decide that Mo just from the shock where everybody face. They just see they see the argue. And then we decided to just take a stroll, enter the hall. Baba, May October come fast too. Like say waiting go happen for October. They go do movie. You know what I mean? Like they will do a Netflix series in what FBI is planning to release. May I give you hints? From a very reliable source inside that same America, they don't drop hints now. What to look for, what to expect from the FBI file that they want to release on Tinubu or the file they have on him. Okay? And we are not 100% sure if they are not going to redact some of them. But inside the FBI file, Baba, Amoda Shongolere happen there. Amoda Adekunle Shongolere that came to America at the late 60s. And he was a drug runner. He was arrested, jailed for 5 years, deported back to Nigeria. Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I was deported back to Nigeria. Then figured out again and he went back through Canada. From Canada to O'Hare Airport in Chicago with a new name, new identity, no past anymore with Bola Tinubu. How? How did that happen? What happened? Is this a movie? Or is this something like some beer parlor room? Not beer parlor room. In the FBI, whatever, that they are going to release from next month. They want to release 2,500 file document on Tinubu. Baba, waiting. One man, 2,500, and it is just what they plan to release at first batch. Some of you have been living in America 20 years, 30 years. I don't think FBI can have up to 2,500 files on you if you are not a real career criminal. So who was that Shongolere? Should the go ahead to come back near? The FBI knows the name. Now, if they begin to release all these documents and they started talking about Shongolere that was once in America, returned back to Nigeria, and then went through Canada, back to America, Chicago, that do you know that Tinubu has served jail in America? This is part of what they're actually pushing out. Oh. And I'm like, Omo, Emi Osimbe. I quickly waka. Or you know, say, I can't hear something and I will keep it away from you. Shongolere, we know Shongolere. This Shongolere we know is from Iragbiji. Not from America, no. And like, well, yeah, no deal. No deal. But why is it getting so ridiculous and ridiculous and ridiculous when it comes to Tinubu? When he can easily just come out and be honest and say, well, fine, now don't catch me. It's me. My name is Amoda Shongolere. Okay? But I changed my name, I changed my everything later to become this person. A lot of people will forgive him because like they will just be like, but you should have told us now. Instead of putting us into this whole sort of a mirage, confusion, that even anybody can just wake up and just say, I know Shongolere when he was a baby. I know this. You know what I mean? Like, you could have just saved us all of that stress. But I don't think Tinubu is ready to save anybody any stress. Whatever it's going to take, he said, is on a mission. Until that mission is completed, is not going anywhere, and he will fight tooth and nail, everything we ain't going to use. So as the moment you enter court again, about problem me to ban court, another problem they wait inside court. You remember the thing a shock sent us out of the courtroom. Say, how could he be asking people not to release his data about his sex and what I mean, right? Kilun Shele. Then we can't enter there and say, Etikbon question Golere coming soon, in October. Go and get ready, So that kind of me I know deal. Ran back inside the courtroom. Now another shock we made there. Guess who we met? Another person called Olajide. I'm gonna look for that name again because I know say it's fake. Another fake. Okay. So there is this guy who came out and he said his name is Olajide. Where's his name again? Olajide Adeniji. Olajide Adeniji. Who be this? Is it now Olajide Adeniji, Tinubu schoolmate in Chicago State University? Wow. Okay. Now, this is going to be interesting. Olajide Adeniji. Who you be? As some of the court boys in Nigeria will say, who goes you? Introduction, Mr. Olajide, sworn, kept under oath in America. And he said, hi, Olajide Adeniji, after having been first duly sworn upon oath, do hereby state that I am over 21 years of age, okay? That I have personal knowledge of the facts stated herein and could competently testify thereto, if called upon to do so. I attended Chicago State University, Chicago, Illinois, from 1977 to 1979. When I graduated with a degree in business administration and accounting in 1979, I am familiar with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is now the president of Nigeria. I am a student at Chicago State University from 1977 to 1979, and Bola Tinubu and I were in the same course of study. I also ran in a closely contested race against Bola Tinubu for the leadership of Accounting Society Club of the Department of Business Administration or Accounting. I recognize and know that the person who I attended Chicago State University with, Bola A. Tinubu, is the same person who is now the president of Nigeria. Pursuant to Ogaga, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Hey! Olajide Adeniji. So what did I do? First, I went back onto the yearbook of Chicago State University of 1979. There is no single Olajide Adeniji there. Remember the way that said they used to joke about Tinubu's accent on TVC a few days ago, that they went to the same school. So what I did next was, okay, let me go and search for Olajide Adeniji, somebody who went to school in America. In this day and time, trust me, they would have what is called the digital footprint, either by what by by the book the author, or by somehow, if you are indeed who you said you are. The only two Adeniji, Olajide Adenijis that I found, one is dead, couldn't fit into that age. The second one was from Osun State. He contested for the position of PDP governorship. He contested PDP governorship primaries in 2018 in Osun State. That's the only Adeniji Olajide that I could kind of find when I was looking for all these digital footprints. Who be this person? What is his face? Now, so we sit down there and say, hey, some people ready to go to jail in order to defend this ex-Cobat. At least he's the president of Nigeria. Okay? You can lie so that he can get what he wants. After getting what he wants, and then they discover that you lied, then you go to jail, okay, for lying. But he's gotten whatever he wanted at the time, so whatever compensation they're going to give to him. This one. Now, so everybody felt like, Tinubu is desperate. The people around Tinubu, they are stupid people. And in their desperation, they're going to make a lot of mistakes. But you would think, with such mistakes that they will make, that should make them very vulnerable. And indeed, be their end, at least legally. No. I don't want you to get so carried away by all of this. Okay? Whatever it is, I want you to remember that we are talking about Nigeria here. And this is a Nigeria that has been captured by these criminals. They are the laws. What Tinubu is fighting for right now is called legitimacy and acceptance. But every time he put up that fight, it just gets so bad and worse and worse. But you will think that should have some repercussions. No, it won't. I don't think so. Nigerians will compensate them. They always have a sanctuary, which is the Nigeria, the contraption, where criminals are their leaders, where all abnormalities are always normal. I don't want you to forget that. But for the sake of our children, for the sake of the generations that are still coming, the ones that these criminals are always, one thing they said, if the story of the jungle, if animals were allowed to write the story of the jungle, you see all those heroic hunters that a lot of you see, you would have seen many of them as ordinary humans, coward in the face of death, but because now humans, they write the story of the jungle. So they can tell you how a man tamed the lion, how a man did this or that. And the old lions and the rest of them will be like, they won't let us tell our own story. That is exactly what Nigeria is. Criminals are the ones making laws. Lawbreakers are making laws. Okay? People who have, I'm talking about real career criminals are those who are executing laws and, indeed, running institutions. So, they are those who are going to write the nonsense in their own history book. How criminals are to be praised as heroes. They'll say, our heroes past. To serve our fatherland. And then. Thank God I don't even remember the national anthem anymore. Sure, you get, or your national pledge. I'm so happy that I don't remember them anymore. I can't even sing them like, you know what I mean? Because the criminals who are writing all this nonsense, they are feeding the generations after generation that they are the criminals who looted their future, the criminals, the rogues who destroyed the country that they are going to be born into. Those criminals are heroes. Those criminals are our saviors. So, like I said, knowing all of this is to help tell your own children the truth about these criminals. Okay? It is for you to help us raise a generation that is not slavish, generation that is not conditioned by these career criminals, or else we are doomed from generation to generation. But we know that the generation is actually here. That is going to be very different from those before them. And that is why we're having this battle, by the way. So yeah, career criminals are called honorable men and women in Nigeria. And they shouldn't be too shocking, because if those who love their oppressors, like I used to say, right, who love their oppressors differently, if they have not really remained consistent enablers, just maybe it could have been a little bit savaged than what you have right now. So yeah, Kalu didn't want them to release his detail, and he didn't want them to release his sex. He didn't want them to make the world know who he is actually. And those around him, in their desperation, they are going to hand everything over to us unknowingly. Because now, it has now become something that a lot of people are now kind of like, who is the president of Nigeria? Who exactly is this guy? Kalu cannot face international media because of all of this. Okay? His handlers, they want to buy him legitimacy. They want to make him look like he's the Nelson Mandela from Nigeria. Is one other kind of hero or something anywhere. But he can't say all these things himself. He can't. Because if they should hold him anywhere and they start asking him, why did you transition in America? Like, you know what it is there, right? They said, did you transition? Why are you ashamed? Why do you not want to let people know that you transitioned from a girl to a boy? There is another discovery. We have found Bola A. Tinubu. Yes, we have found her. But that Bola A. Tinubu seems not to be the one that went to the Chicago State University, by the way. But it's actually another Bola A. Tinubu that has now been kind of, discovered. But we'll get to that when the time is right. But let's go a little bit further going forward. Sanusi, the former emir of Kano, the man that accused Goodluck Egbere Jolantan Getch of mismanaging and losing or missing 20 billion US dollars. You remember? And it was because of this Sanusi alarm that so many people who have now come to know the politics of Nigeria better now, after this exposure and this disgrace and destruction that APC, Egbekegbe, finally represents. People didn't know then that Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, as they kind of all operate anyway, they all acted like they are in their own little fiefdom for every opportunity or every position they control. Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was being investigated for mismanaging the money that was over 200 billion naira at the time. Part of the accusation against him at the time was that he was doling out Nigeria central bank money like he was a politician, you know. He was donating money to schools, to this, to that, 1 billion naira, $200 million, this one, and all that. He was living like a royal prince, not like the central bank governor at the time. So somehow he got the wind that he was going to be removed. Not just removed, he was going to be arrested. So what happened? Sanusi turned to a whistleblower. A whistleblower. Goodluck Egbere Jonathan was already becoming the most hated man in the entire Nigeria at the time. In fact, it became a fashion, okay, that if you hated Jonathan, you are actually patriotic. Do you understand? Like, it was like a fashion then, like, and it was a darling before that time. Goodluck Egbere Jonathan was a darling of majority of Nigerians at the time. Now, it seems I'm digressing little, but I have to give you this background. So, when, meanwhile, they've already started looking into forming a sort of a united opposition to remove PDP and Jonathan. The Boko Haram was bombing here and there. Jonathan's men were like extravagant, so corrupt openly. They were like, you know what I mean? Like, it was obvious at the time. So Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was also one of those corrupt criminals, right? Frittering away the resources of that same government. But he didn't want to be held responsible. So he turned to a whistleblower. If the central bank governor of central bank of the country raises alarm to say the NNPC that is selling Nigeria crude oil, they have not remitted over $20 billion in the last so months. In fact, from what he's done his own calculation, and he discovered that if the money that should have been remitted by the NNPC to the central bank cover as proceeds from the crude oil, compared to what they have paid to the central bank, he believed that over $20 billion is missing. Hey! APC, they picked it up straight away. 20 billion. Do you know what 20 billion can do? Okay. So now said, okay, come and explain how the 20 billion got missing. Do you understand? It was like, the calculation says between 18 billion and 20. Then he came back and he said, what is actually missing is 12 billion. So the 12 billion that NNPC didn't remit, okay, was automatically repackaged that Goodluck Egbere Jonathan, they have stolen $20 billion. And they want to use the money for the 2015 elections. Propaganda lanje. Hey! It's sold like akara. Bread and akara. The fresh bread and akara. So many of you bought it. Can you imagine? 20 billion. So he started going back and forth. To cut the long story short, he got removed. And APC, Egbekegbe, Kwakwansop and Co., they quickly grabbed him. And it happened at the same time when the Emir of Kano died. They just made him the Emir of Kano to protect him from Jonathan's government. So he became a kind of an advocate of a better Nigeria. Sanusi, this same Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, he became advocate of the better, prosperous Nigeria. He became a darling. That was how he got saved. He wasn't arrested. All the investigation against all his own mismanagement of money inside the Central Bank of Nigeria, all of that died. Jonathan couldn't do anything anymore. So he became Emir. The camp of APC, Egbekegbe, they started swelling and swelling. They wanted to save Nigeria. Nigeria needs change. Nigeria, blah, 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 blah. Now, fast forward to 2015. Bokwari became the president of Nigeria. And the Shege, Bansa, started. After 4 years, Sanusi don't get problem with the state governor. Remember, Kwakwansop was the governor, working to install Bokwari as APC government and remove Jonathan. And Kwakwansop made Sanusi emir to protect him from Jonathan. So when Kwakwansop and APC, when they gained the power in 2015, and Jonathan, despite all the monumental rigging at the time, he said he realized that these guys were actually preparing for war, not election. And he said, if he had stayed, and they said it too, they said, if Jonathan had stayed and did not accept that defeat, they would have started a civil war in Nigeria. That was what brought Fulani terrorists to the borders of Nigeria. That's why I said, it may sound like I am digressing, but that is where I'm taking all of you on this. So Gandola became governor of Kano. Gandola was caught pocketing dollars. They kick back money from the government road contracts awarded to contractors. That was him collecting his own 10% from those contracts, and he got caught on tape. And it became a big news. He was supposed to be removed as governor and be tried as a criminal, okay? So everybody was talking. Sanusi self can't they talk. Here you get. Sanusi can't they talk, like the way he was talking as a central bank governor with Jonathan. Can't they hammer Gandola? It's a disgrace. It's a criminal. It's a this or that. You know what Gandola did? In 2019, they discovered that Sanusi, thinking he is smart, forgetting the fact that he is also swimming in the pool, the corrupt pool of those they call elites. All of this dirty elites that you have in Nigeria. Elites that cannot build good roads, that they themselves will drive on. Elites that cannot build a good housing for their own citizens to make the country beautiful. Elites that cannot provide electricity, leave you in the slum and the shanties. Elites that cannot build good schools for your children. Elites, Nigeria elites that cannot build good medical centers, hospitals for their own people. And they are the dirty, stinking elites that they have billions, they have money. But they are what? They are from the shithole country, a contraption, poverty capital of the world. Elites. So Gandola felt so insulted that see this thief, where we use our own political, because Gandola was deputy to Kwakwansop. This is Kwakwanso. So Kwakwanso handed over to Gandola. Trailer come past their middle. You know the story today, Abi. Anyway, they thought Gandola was going to, he believed that Gandola must lose that election in 2019. He worked against him. Gandola knew. He expected that Gandola would be kind of, removed and tried. That didn't happen. Gandola managed, to force that election in 2019 to a rerun so that he could properly rig it and get himself re-elected. Immediately, Gandola re-rigged himself in 2019. He just went straight for Sanusi. Oh yeah, come here. We emir. You dey mad, you. Now me you dey call thief, Abi. You this born criminal. Born criminal. Where we say we dey spend money, they buy you best shit where you dey put for that your head, they make you look like you be somebody. Come here, only. We have your record. At least this Kano state government is the one that is funding the what do you call it? The Emirates called the Kano Emir. Come here. The Ashemache, the Nokuno, the what do you call it? The irresponsibility, financial irresponsibility that would have led Jonathan to send you to jail. You, they abuse me, they call me thief. You, Sanusi. Now Ogun go kill you. Come here, we get your record. You have been spending, you don't marry another wife. You don't marry like 2 wives since we make you emir. And in the course of marrying them, you spend so amount of money. Emir, I know they spend this kind of money. Oh. Now we discover that you have been actually spending the money of this emirate. And we want you to account for the money. This is true story. Oh. I just wanted you to enjoy it. That's why I'm saying it this way. Oh. It really happened though. Come and explain all this money. This one says 1.2 billion. This one says 300 million naira. When you go to Saudi, what do you go do for Saudi? The craze. Come here. They can't call Gandola. Calm down, oh. Calm down. There are many ways to kill a cat. Oh. Don't do this. Oh. A lot of people will not understand you. If you go for him, okay, they know you are coming for him. Now, at the end of the day, now you go lose. Oh. But we have many ways you can kill a cat.